How's it going, everybody? I am DJ Riley, one of the hosts from Boys on the Bench, and I am back with my NBA picks. And in today's video, what I'm going to be doing is showing you daily grind fantasy and also using another app called Props Cash, where I can kind of look at recent history and see if what we're really getting from these bets. So before we jump into this, make sure that you are subscribing to this channel, hitting that notification bell, and getting notified anytime these videos are dropping because they are coming out daily. Also, make sure you're checking out our shorts. Dalton is over there running our shorts, and he was just on an 8-game streak of hitting his pick of the day, and just ended yesterday. Him and me actually had the pick of the day, the same pick of the day, and it didn't cash out. So if you're also following along yesterday, you did see that we ended up going at 3-5. Evan Mobley, like I said, was the pick of the day, and he didn't cash out for us. He didn't play, I believe it was the last 18 minutes of the game, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if he had kind of a lingering issue, his injury that came up that limited his playing time, but he had 6 rebounds in 22 minutes of play. So it looked like we were going to cash this out, and then he just didn't play the last 18 minutes, but that is no here or there. So anyways, though, that brings us kind of to today's picks. And like I said, I'm going to be showing you 2 different things, which is Daily Grind Fantasy. So if we hop over to Daily Grind Fantasy, and once we open this up again, you can see here that they have all of these different daily fantasy sports books up top, but I'll be using PrizePicks here. And then you can see PrizePicks, we're the magic number that if you're tuning into this channel, the magic number that we're kind of looking for is that 54%. But what you're seeing here is a lot of esports, the CS2 plays here, League of Legends. But what I want is I just want the NBA. So you can filter this by league, and I just hit clear all, and then I go back and select the NBA. And then it auto-populates all of my plays for the NBA here. So once this ends up coming up, we'll see what we're getting. And then what I'll do is I'll hop over to Props Cash. So we can see here that Chet Holmgren is one of the top plays, or the top play for the NBA, with major sports books like Pinnacle giving this minus 168 odds. Bovada coming in here at 157. So we're getting crazy value here. But if we go over here to Props Cash, let me see if I can find this. It's the OKC game right here. And then we go to Chet Holmgren. Let's hop over to his rebounds. It's set at 9.5 rebounds. We can see again this sports book. You can put here in any sports book that you want. But he's only hitting 4 out of his last 10 games. Head-to-head matchups. Let's see. He's played versus Portland 3 times this season, and he's only just cleared it 1 time, and it was just kind of that hook where he had 10, but then 2 others. So this appears to be a really good play, and even if we go to his last 15, even last 30, he hasn't really been hitting this at such a high mark. Portland defensively, 17th least amount of rebounds in all of the NBA, and we can even scroll down here and kind of see, we can filter it by centers. So they're allowing quite a bit to centers. So we can see here that they've allowed the last couple centers to hit all of their overs. Power forwards, because he's kind of that weird in-betweener, a lot better versus that power forward, right? So yeah, I know some people say Chet Holmgren is a center. Some say that he is a power forward. He's kind of that flex in-betweener position, so it's important to look at both. But since we are getting really good odds here from Chet Holmgren to go under 9.5 rebounds, I think that that's what we take here. So if we hop over here to PrizePicks, and let's put in Chet and see if he is here. For the rebounds, we are looking for 9.5. Hit that less there. Now let's hop back over here to Daily Grind Fantasy, and we can see, let's make sure that we refresh it and it's still there. Kobe White has now jumped up to the top. We still have the Chet Holmgren play here, but Kobe White, we are now saying that he needs to go under 29.5 points plus rebounds. We can see here again, 29.5. Every other sports book that has this line is offering it or opening it up at 28.5. So now PrizePicks is giving us that 1 point edge, which is why we have that 54%. So let's go over here to Kobe White really quick. See if we can get this Chicago play up here. Let's find Kobe White, and it was points plus rebounds. And you can see here again, make sure that you're fixing this, because we can see that this is opening up at 28.5 points plus rebounds. We want to make sure that we can bump this up to what it was, which was the 29.5 that PrizePicks is offering. If we look at his last 10, he's only hit this in 2 out of his last 10 games. If we look at his head-to-head history versus this Utah Jazz team, he only played them one time this season. This was January 7th of the 2023, so this was not this season. So this is the only game that we're looking at, and he had 21. So yes, Utah does pretty good versus them. Now, if we back out of here as well, we can also tell that Kobe White versus the shooting guard position, although I would argue that he is a point guard, but they have him listed as a shooting guard here, but they allow the second most points plus rebounds. Nonetheless, though, we can see that his recent performances, he hasn't been performing too well, and all of the other major sports books are offering this at 28.5. So if I want to go over here again, type in Kobe White, and we're looking for the points plus rebounds, and we go less, right? So now we've got these two plays. Let's refresh this again, make sure that these are still available. So we see the rebounds here, Kobe White here. So now again, guys, that's what I'm saying. This is for always changing. Now we have Keontae George coming in at points plus rebounds plus assists, going under 24.5, got 23 across all the other major sports books. So I believe that was the same game. So if we go Keontae George, we need to change this to points plus rebounds plus assists. Keontae George right here, they allow the 11th lead. So they're pretty good versus the shooting guard position. But let's look at how he's done. So I believe it was 24.5 is what PrizePicks was offering this as. Yes. So they have this at 23. Let's fix this to 24. Head-to-head matchup, he only had 11, but I don't think he probably played a ton of minutes that game. 21 minutes of play in that game there. So let's look at his last 10 and how he's performed. So he's hit 4 out of his last 10 games, and I know he's been shooting the ball at a crazy mark here recently. So he's seen at least 20 plus field goal attempts, and then kind of his range is that 12, anywhere from 12 to 14 is kind of that range here recently, right? So anyways, though, Chicago is pretty good versus the shooting guard position. All the major sports books, like I had mentioned, saying that he is at least the line is not set right. So if we go Keontae George, points plus rebounds plus assists, we want to hit that under again. And then let's look at the next pick that we have here. Let's refresh it. Still got Kobe White, Keontae George, and Chet Holmgren all coming in. Now, looking at our first overplay, and that's Franz Wagner going over 21.5 points plus assists. Well, let's see what we got. So now we have 2 books offering this at 23.5, with 3 books offering it at the 21 that PrizePicks is. But we can see that the odds are minus 140, minus 130, and minus 140. So we're getting a 2-point edge kind of here. So let's look at Franz Wagner here. On props cash, where is Orlando? And then Franz Wagner. What was the line again? What was it? Points plus assists. Points plus assists. I did points plus rebounds. So points plus assist, and we were getting it at 23.5. Or no, we were getting it at 21.5. So if we got to go down quite a bit, right? So we can see here that he's hit this in 4 out of his last 10. So he's not hitting it necessarily at a higher rate here. Recently hasn't hit it in his last 3, but his head-to-head matchups 3 times versus Washington this season, and he's been for 30 plus in every single one of those games. So he's found ways to dominate this team like crazy. So definitely love that play here. So if we go, see, and then as soon as this is why we got to be quick. So I know that I'm trying to give a little bit more justification to a lot of my picks today. So typically I'd be a lot quicker with this. So if I edit this entry, now I'm sure that we are not getting a ton of value on that Kobe White pick. You can see that he's now completely dropped out of this list, and we're no longer getting any value here. So I don't necessarily want to take that anymore because it's not positive EV. So if we delete that, who was the play that we were looking at? Franz Wagner, though. And then points and assists. We're looking to go for more on him. So let's try to get 2 more before all of these start changing on us. Let's refresh this one more time. We still have our top 3 here. Kawhi Leonard is the very next one on over 3.5 assists. We can see again, all of the sports books are at 3.5 as well, but all of them favoring it heavily, with the lowest book offering it at minus 130. So Kawhi Leonard, if we go over here, LAC, Kawhi Leonard, looking at just his assists, is 3.5 assists. So he's only played them 1 time this season. He only had 2 assists in that game. If we look at his last 10, though, we can see that he's been passing the ball pretty good here recently, hitting this in 6 out of his last 10, also 9 out of his last 15. 17 out of his last 30. So we're sitting around that 60% mark, which is pretty good. So I definitely like this pick. Let's go Kawhi. Looking at for his assist, and we want more. So let's try to find one more pick here for us, and then we can go ahead and cash this thing out. So we have all four of us here. Now, the next pick that we have is Steph Curry going under 5.5 3-pointers made. So again, another pinnacle play where they're offering it minus 167. All the other sports books have this line at 5.5, and their lowest line is minus 130 again. With two books offering at minus 130, but we're getting that 54.2% chance of hitting, which is pretty good. So let's go ahead, look at Steph Curry, see what we can get here. Golden State, Steph, 3-pointers made. It's offering it at 5.5. He's hit this in 5 out of his last 10. But looking at how Milwaukee is on 3-pointers, you can see here that they allow the 9th least amount of 3-pointers made and the 7th lowest 3-point percentage allowed. So they're very tough against 3-pointers. I mean, I know Steph Curry is kind of due for anything, any single night, but looking at head to head, they have not faced each other this season. But again, I think with Milwaukee's defense, that looks like it's pretty good there. So let's go ahead and lock this in, and this will be the last one that we have for you today. So Steph Curry looking for the 3-pointers made, and we'll hit the less. So again, going back over this, Chet Holmgren, 9.5 rebounds, Keontae George under 24.5 PRA, Franz Wagner over 21.5 points plus assists, Kawhi Leonard over 3.5 assists, and Steph Curry under 5.5 3-pointers made. So we'll go ahead and cash that in there. But again, guys, all of these picks are coming straight from Daily Grind Fantasy, and we're getting crazy odds on all of these because they're all 54 plus. So anyways, that's kind of a little bit of how I do some of my research. It's kind of a little bit of a snippet of how I do some of my research for these picks. So anyways, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Let me know if you're tailing any of those. Let me know if you're fading them. I'll also copy and paste the slip link down in the comments below. So make sure you're jumping on that while you can. Anyways, let's have a good day today. And actually, I will not see you tomorrow because I will be taking a trip to the UK tonight. So I'll be out for a week, so I won't be able to post any videos. So again, make sure you're checking out those shorts as well because my brother Dalton has been on top of those. So make sure you're following along there. But let's have a good day and good luck. Later.